Feeding the Hungry. I'm Lisa Allegas, and welcome to Newsmakers. In this edition, we look at a few of the organizations in the community working to feed the hungry. We will visit with the Outreach House, a mission of St. Peter the Apostle Catholic Church, and the Salvation Army Soup Kitchen. We begin with the director of Outreach House, Cherry Giartano, and Sister Cabrini Kelch. Thank you both for joining us.
Our pleasure.
I know you've had a busy day already working at the Outreach House. So if you could just, Terry, tell us a little bit about how it started and how does the food operation work on a daily basis?
Okay, St. Peter's Outreach House in itself has been in existence for about 30 years. But in the last 8 years, we put a kitchen in and decided to serve a hot meal. We decided that we were watching the poor in the community in our neighborhood walking by, and we kept figuring out, I couldn't figure out where they were going. Where are these people going? I'm watching them out the window, and they were all walking across town to Salvation Army to get a meal. So we decided, at that time we were just doing food boxes, or we ran a pantry, and I said, instead of giving out a box of food they may or may not use, why don't we literally feed them one meal at a time? And so we put a kitchen in and we started serving meals on our side of town. And we are now up to, our average now, we serve Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. And we serve between 300 and 380 in 2 hours every day. So,
and you've outgrown you had a dining room, and originally folks could come in and sit down and eat. Sister Cabrini, you were there the other day handing out, so now it's just kind of in containers and hand out and they can eat on their own.
Right. Well, the reason that started, yes, we have a lovely dining room we served them, they came in and we served them on real dishes. We had artwork on the walls, we served them, it was first class, but we could only serve 50 people at a time. But COVID hit and we couldn't allow the people to come inside for their protection as well as ours because of the pandemic. So we thought, let's keep going. If we can swing the funding, let's try handing the meals to go. And we started that, it's been 3 years. We started March 12th of 2020. And since that time, we went from serving a banner day for us was 100 meals. And like I said, we've actually had 2 occasions where we fed over 400 meals in 2 hours. So obviously the need is so much greater than it has been. It keeps escalating. I know you'd asked me originally about have we seen an increase? Absolutely. Since July, we had an increase of 27%.
Wow.
Which is huge. I mean, we thought 200 was just unbelievable, and now it's 350. Even right now, we're in the middle of the month, and we're still feeding over 300. So, and as the month progresses, because they've run out of their food allowance money, we'll hit over 400 easy in 2 hours. So it's a twofold thing. We can obviously accommodate so many more people this way, or so many more meals. And then we also have to look at it from a safety standpoint.
You bet.
I mean, obviously, I'm an employee of the church. I get paid. I'm on staff. But everybody else, I have like 30 volunteers that volunteer for me. I have to keep, my number one priority is to keep them safe. And if that means keeping our clientele out and keeping them safe from each other, then it's worked so much better this way.
Yeah, it's grown a lot.
And you were there, I mean, like today, as cold as it was, they'll line up outside 30, 40 deep in the cold, any kind of weather. I mean, is it ideal? Most of them live close by in the neighborhood, and they will take the meal. A lot of them will take their meal home, but there's still a lot. Of course, Sister's on the door, so I'll let her tell you.
Yes, I mean, sometimes you're handing out 2 meals, so they come and get, but you have a list of names. Is that how does that work when they come to pick up their meals?
They just tell me their names and what the need is. Some we allow them to take the food home to people who are disabled or for some reason can't make it. But we try just to give 2 meals to each person and just try to meet their needs as we can and let them know that we care about them.
What's the reaction when you are handing out these meals to these folks?
Almost all of them
thankful.
are so grateful, so grateful. And I get tons of God bless yous, and that just makes me so happy, you know. And some of them say, oh, we love you all, we love you all. But they're just so grateful and so polite. I mean, it's, you know, they're just wonderful people, and kind of get to know them and their stories. And it's nice, and they know that we care.
I think that's a big thing, is the fact that we're just, in a very small way, I figure if we can do one good positive thing in a very small way and make that difference, and everybody tries to do something small, that what a difference overall it would make. But we just decided we wanted to take care of those that live right there in our very poor neighborhood. You know, we're right over there on 8th Street, and we do, like Sister said, we get to know them, we care about them. I mean, they're like our family. That's what we call them, our neighbors. We don't call them clients. And
sometimes it's families.
It is,
a lot of
or
families.
apartment buildings. You know, there are several apartment buildings with, you know, like maybe 10 or 12 people that live in that apartment, and a lot of them are elderly. And there's this one young man who comes and picks up sometimes 12 meals and carries them on foot to the elderly people in the neighborhood, in his apartment.
So we just kind of take care of each other, because you know, if we help them so they're not desperate to make, you know, have food, so just let them know that the big thing is let them know that we care about them. Because like Sisters on the Door, there's a couple of them out front. She knows their names, and it's really neat. And that might be the only interaction some of these people may have with another person. And just to be able to say, oh, well, hello, Bill, how are you today? I mean, that one little act of kindness.
Remember what they like, or if, you know, if they get real excited about something, then if you remember that the next time and give it to them, it just kind of makes them feel special.
Difference between water and milk sometimes.
Yes, yes. Or chocolate milk and white milk.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You know, it's been, we've been so fortunate, because it's obviously more expensive to do it this way, because we have to buy the containers and the silverware, and we're still packaging. I almost brought lunch. We should have brought lunch. This is what we give them, but we always have a hot, full balanced, well-balanced meal.
But we had some video. I was there the other day, and we got some video, and it is like an assembly line. Which how important are these volunteers, the folks who come in?
We couldn't do it without them. We gotta have people. I'm so blessed. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have a different crew for each day. And everybody we've been doing it. We've kept our ship pretty tight because of COVID. But I mean, everybody knows what their job is. Like some like to come in and help prep and cook. And then some come in a little later because they like to serve. And then some actually come, believe it or not, they actually come to do dishes. Even though we're handing things out to go, we're creating a lot of dirty dishes. So we actually have those people that
clean up
just come and do that. So it's been wonderful. But yeah, I couldn't do it it takes a village. I mean, it takes. Ideally, we have 10 to 15 people a day that come in. Maybe not all, like I said, they come in shifts to help, but we couldn't do it without them.
It seemed like they got quite a bit of food the day I was there, and it is important that you have the prep, but do you get donations, and how does that work for you when it comes to the food you're able to serve?
Most of the food that we get comes from Ozark Food Harvest in Springfield, and so that is our monthly, once a month allotment that we are able to get, and that's with the bulk of the food. The rest of it is by private food drives, Since we're owned by the Catholic Church, both churches, St. Mary's and St. Peter's, the men's organization, the Knights of Columbus, did food drives this month. This is a great month to get donations because everyone's thankful for what they have. And so we get a lot of donations that way. Most of the time, because I can go buy the food, or we can get the food less expensive than the average person because we are tax exempt, or I have avenues to get it a better deal, that a lot of people prefer to just give us cash, which is perfect, you know. So
you buy what you need then.
Yeah, that way we can get it and maybe get it at bulk size and at a better price. Now, we are totally privately funded by donation, so if it weren't for all those wonderful people out there, and not just Catholics. I mean, they're everybody that see the need, realize the need is there, and believe in what we're doing. And it's not wasted. No, anybody that comes to our door is hungry. I mean, they're not walking out with money. They're not walking out with clothing. They're not. There's no tangible. It's just that meal. Because a sister can attest, is they're hungry enough that in the rain, come shine, the snow, they're going to take that meal. She hands them. They're going to step off to one side and start eating. They're that hungry. And why do we give them 2 meals? Because when we let them inside, we always let them have seconds. So we said we'll let them do that. So as long as we can continue to have our funding, we've been so fortunate that we can buy the milk. You know, I mean, we buy 800 cartons of milk a week, and it's gone in 2 days.
Well, you're quite a blessing to the community. Thank you for all you do. Thanks to all the volunteers. What do you get as a volunteer? How does it, you know, what's that feeling? You mentioned, you know, when they say God bless you, that's something special.
That's exactly it. It's just the interaction with the people and knowing that, you know, we're all brothers and sisters and we need to take care of each other.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome, my dear. And one thing that really impresses me with the people is how they take care of each other. You know,
it's true.
Like they'll just meet right there. They've never seen each other before, and they'll walk off together being friends.
They know what it's like to walk in that other person's shoes.
Yeah, yeah. But I think how they really watch out for each other. It's rare that we do have fights and things every once in a while, and I put on my mean teacher look and tell them, you know,
straighten up.
Straighten up. But for the most part, they are just kind and loving to each other and try to help each other and to us.
To us.
They, I mean, you wouldn't believe how many of them, I mean, the 99% say thank you and how much they appreciate what we do, you know.
They touch your heart.
Yeah,
you know,
it really does.
When they come to us and they think of us, they care enough about us that they share their stories. And some are sad and then some are joyful. So it's wonderful to be able to share that. And
have you seen it impact people's lives? Have you seen them go from maybe being homeless to a better place? Have you gotten to share in that?
Definitely.
You know, that's the thing, and I'm sure the other charities all can attest to the same thing. All we require when they come to our door is to give us a name. And the reason why is we keep track so that we can help track. So if they are in line to, or they're trying to get into housing or an apartment, they have to have proof that they've been in the Joplin community for a specific number of time. So they can use us as a reference, and they will contact me, and I will then go back and look. You know, normally, sister, I'll just ask her, do you recognize this person? She said, oh yeah, they've been coming here for 2 years. And I can write a letter for them and help them get into housing. So it's a positive. It's not for a negative thing. Unfortunately, occasionally, if there is an instance where they're trying to locate someone, not so much because they're in trouble, but like families are trying to locate. They might have a relative.
They've lost touch.
They've lost touch. That's actually homeless, and they're trying to track them. And we helped with that instance not too long ago. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Too. So it's just been such a huge blessing. I mean, I think we get more out of it than they do.
Yes.
You go home at night and you're thankful to God that you have someplace that somebody that cares about you, and that you're not alone, and you have a warm place to be. And this morning I ran outside to get something, and they're laying down outside sleeping around. I mean, we have a lot of homeless that we're feeding, just like everybody else is right now too. But most of them aren't homeless. Most of them have a place to live. They're just poor.
And they just need
They just need stretch the food dollars a little bit. So that's really why we started doing this now. But we've seen such a huge increase in the homeless population. And normally, by now, it would be trickling back down a little bit because we see a kind of a migration, you know, where when it gets cooler that they start moving on. But I haven't seen that yet, and that's pretty scary because our numbers, like I said,
keep growing.
They've been going up and up, and I have a feeling I don't foresee an end in this site, so we're just going to keep plugging away.
You bet.
And what we're doing.
Well, thank you for all you do for the community.
Well, thank
sure
you
they're
for
grateful.
having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll look at the efforts of the Salvation Army to bring food and comfort to those in need. We'll be back. The Salvation Army is an international movement and the evangelical part of the Universal Christian Church. Part of its mission is to meet human needs without discrimination. Joining us to discuss how their feeding operation works here in the Joplin area is Lieutenant Marty Norris and the Director of Emergency Services and Volunteer Operations, Nathan Hicks. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So tell us, I mean, you feed folks every day, and it's a big operation, 2 meals a day. Tell us how it works, Nathan.
So we serve, like you said, breakfast and lunch every single day. Monday through Friday, we have our breakfast that will go from 8 to 8:45, and lunch that will go from 12 to 12:45. Our breakfast is a little bit smaller in the morning, so it's a little bit more of a kind of a quiet time where they'll come in, have a nice breakfast first thing, and then in the afternoon come in from 12 to 12:45, having another hot meal. So right now when they come in for that hot meal, it's kind of nice, especially right now when it's the cold weather, to come in for a nice warm meal. It's kind of nice to be able to have that time period.
So how does it work when it comes to your food supplies and like, we've heard about Ozark Food Harvest. Where do you get your foods? Are donations really important, Lieutenant?
Donations are very important. If we didn't have that, we didn't have the food to put out for them. Just like it was mentioned earlier, we get a lot of our stuff from Ozark Food Harvest as well. But we do rely heavily on a lot of the other donations throughout the year or throughout other companies or restaurants, whatever we can get supplies from. That is greatly appreciated. It just makes up a good variety of a menu that way. Mm-hmm. And it just basically provides us what we need. And when we are down, COVID kind of hurt with that because we lost a lot of that. So now we're just slowly trying to build that up, and donations are a very, very part what keeps us in operation. Yeah.
And did you look for donations of food, donations of money? Is it a combination that usually helps your soup kitchen?
I would say it's definitely a combination of both. It's not just necessarily always just the food. I mean, we also have our emergency food pantry that we have. We have, like I said, breakfast and lunch that we serve as well. And then we also have what we call a free table. Food that can't necessarily go for our meals that we're cooking that day. But our free table is something that we'll have during breakfast and lunchtime, where if we have enough of our plastic bags, individuals can be able to go over to our free table, get a select amount of items at that free table and take along with them with their meal that they have going on that day. So as simple as a donation of everybody's got those Walmart bags that they have just stored in some random drawer in their kitchen. If they don't want that stored in their kitchen, they can bring those extra bags over to our core, and we can utilize those. That helps them to be able to take those items home with them.
And hate to see those go in the trash.
Exactly,
yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Because we utilize it for our that free table, and we also use it for our senior food boxes as well.
And so you deliver some food then, or have
our senior food boxes, they come by once a month. And they'll have that line. Seniors can be able to get signed up through our case manager in our office, Melissa Conrad, and get that done once a month.
Excellent. So, Lieutenant, how important are volunteers to making this all work? Because there's a whole assembly line in the kitchen serving up food.
Oh, definitely, because volunteers are the heart of the operation. If we didn't have them, we were just not enough of us to go around to do all that we all do. So coming in and either help serving, or if they have any food knowledge, want to come in and help prep or cook, they can do that as well. Our biggest time with that is during the Christmas and holiday season, where we will open our doors on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's where we see the biggest share of our volunteers come in to help serve the holiday meal to the low-income and homeless people.
Mm-hmm. Can anyone show up on a daily basis to eat?
Definitely. Like I said, I mean, during lunchtime especially, we'll have about 100 or so people that will come in for that lunchtime. And so we don't turn, nobody is turned away for a lunch. If they want to come in, they just come in through our dining area, and we'll provide them a lunch.
Have you tracked the impact of your soup kitchen and your feeding operations, and have you seen a growth in the need?
Every day, it's always changing. Everybody that comes through, we ask them to just sign in on the clipboard that's right there at that front of that line. So they'll sign in, and we'll get them a tray. We'll have individuals, we'll have families, we'll have kids. So there's always a need, but it is growing here in this community. It's not just the homeless; it's families that are being impacted just from food prices going up here in the area. Not just this area, but for them all surrounding. It's a difficult time for a lot of families, and so being able to have that availability here for food, it helps them out.
So how does your kitchen work? Do you have somebody who plans a menu, and do they have to, like, I guess, evaluate the donations you have?
So we do have a cook. He is here Monday through Friday each day. He comes in first thing in the morning and is working on menus each day when he first comes in, to making sure that there's food for them every single time.
I mean, it's a great meal. There was like roasted chicken. It was, delicious. Yeah. And it's nice to think that folks can have something special. It's not just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yes.
They're getting a warm meal. How important is this to your overall mission, Lieutenant?
Oh, the overall mission is this is the way we can get people to come to us. And not only do they come in and just eat, they can also learn about other services that we can provide as well. Because we do offer a wide variety of services, from either housing or electrical assistance when we had the funding, opportunities to be spiritually lifted as well, or if they just having a personal crisis, we are open 24 hours. The officers are, not the building, but that we can tend to anybody's needs as well, both spiritually and academically, or just anything they need help with. That's what we're there for.
I know you guys even have like a shower and kind of laundry. How can that help with the self-esteem of those who might be struggling?
So a lot of times with our homeless population, they don't have readily accessible ability to be able to get to a laundry facility or showers available for them at any point in time. So being able to come to our main office and just being able to schedule for our shower, our laundry program, they can be able to come by to that main office and just schedule with our main office to utilize our showers and our laundry program, be able to just have that backpack off their shoulder and just toss it into our washer and dryer, and then just have clean clothes there for them is huge help there for that way. So it's not just sitting on them the entire time. They can just have just a clean sense of self-esteem.
Right. How do you feel like you're making an impact in the community? I know we've talked about it's kind of a neighborhood kind of thing. But do you feel like we're seeing more homelessness, and then how can we impact and make a change?
I am definitely seeing a big change. The homeless coming in, it's like we have our regulars that have been around for a while, but then there's always new faces coming in. And a lot of them might be passing through, or a lot of them are somehow end up in this area and don't know where to go from there on. And that's when they can come to us or get some kind of assistance or help or even guidance. Because we work with so many other organizations, not just us, that we share our resources, we share our contacts. If we can't help somebody, we know somebody probably could.
How important is that? I mean, to be able to work with other charities?
So being able to work with other charities, it's always a great, when we don't have a resource available, or for instance, if we run out of utility assistance, and we have a family that's coming through and they just got their electric turned off. We have other organizations here in the area that we can be able to work with and say, hey, we know just from our last meeting, this other organization here in town, they have utility assistance still available. Here's their contact. Please reach out to them so you can be able to get your utilities turned back on. Yeah. So that's where that cooperation here in our town, that's one thing that we have our different coalitions, our different COADs, our VOADs, that work with one another to make sure that everybody is taken care of here in this town.
Excellent. You mentioned having holiday dinners, which is always very special. You have lots of volunteers come in. Are you doing other things? I know typically the Salvation Army has done toy drives. Do you have food care packages that also help around the holiday time, food baskets, things like that?
Actually, we do have some organizations with that. In fact, just recently, we used to hold all that in our gym, And we just got to the point this year, you know, we need to move it elsewhere because the price of to-go containers and stuff, we would serve everything to go at that time. And to change that, we moved it indoors so that now they'll be able to eat inside and have a warm Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner in the building. As we moved our distribution site off-site, actually at the mall, we've got a spot for that for this year. So those who drive, once they sign up online, most of them are seniors that we use to get the food boxes for, but we try to provide a healthy holiday meal in those boxes for them with all the trimmings and fixings of that as well. And this year we're doing something different. Instead of providing the fresh meat, we are getting gift certificates so they can go to a certain grocery store and purchase what they like in case maybe they don't like turkey or ham. They want something different. This gives them that opportunity that they can go do that.
Well, you have to even think about some people might have food allergies. So it's nice that they can have that ability to shop as well. And how do you feel like providing these can also help them enjoy other aspects of the holiday season when food isn't their main concern? Does it help families in that way?
I mean, definitely. Being able to sometimes just focus on your family, being able to come through and just have that meal there, but having all these different programs all available just for a family during a stressful time. Angel Tree, whether it's Angel Tree, being able to come through during that stressful time when income is just so tight for a lot of families, whether they've lost a job or just don't have the income there at all. Angel Tree is a huge help. And so people can be able to come out and volunteer, whether it's helping sort through the toys that are coming in, helping getting them to the correct angels that are coming, that have already signed up, or whether it's helping on distribution day on the 21st. All volunteers can come through me and get set up into our system, and I get them organized. If they just want to volunteer on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day, I get them set up to either help deliver our meals or help serve in-house, because on Christmas and Thanksgiving Day, we'll serve anywhere between 500 to 600 meals.
Wow.
That day.
But
it's a lot of fun though. I have absolutely, last year was my first year with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I had so much fun on those days. Thanksgiving though, I got sick last year, and it was left over to them to say, here's my volunteers all coming in, here you go. So I told them I wouldn't be sick on Thanksgiving this year. But it was a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, you all do such great things for the community. We thank you for being here and sharing. And if folks can want to volunteer, they can go to your website. You have volunteer opportunities, and they can sign up.
Yeah, but they can also just contact me directly on my cell phone, which is on our website as well, and I'll get them set up just via phone call.
All right. Thank you, Nathan Hicks. Thank you, Lieutenant Norris. Appreciate you both being here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
These are just a few of the charities in our area that need helping hands to support others through giving. Next week on Newsmakers, we talk with our dental hygiene department director and students about a grant that takes them into area schools where they apply sealants, do screenings, and offer oral health education. Thank you for watching. For Newsmakers, I'm Lisa Allegas.